Hello. Hello. A very good morning to everybody present here. Okay. Thank you. So a very good morning to everybody present here. Thank you so much for being able to make it to this talk. Now the topic, finding the motivator, the key to success, is extremely close to my heart, being a motivational speaker. And when people say the key to success, and when I say that I'm a motivational speaker, a lot of people come seeking answers, right? Now, I'm not here to give you any answers. I'm here to tell you that the key to success is the person that stares back at you every morning that you wake up and look in the mirror. The key to success lies within you. Now, most of us have this tendency to believe the things that the world seems to tell us. We tend to fall for the things that people say against us. Now, society is meant to do that. You are competition to other people, so they will try their best every single day to crumble you, to pull you down, to do their best to make sure that you don't succeed. Now, what's your job in all of this? Your job is to not let that get to you. Your job is to make sure that the power that you have within you and the faith that you hold within you is stronger than the words that the people throw at you. Now, being a motivational speaker, I speak at different platforms about different things. There is, how to deal with failure and such many other things. So, I've seen a lot of people tell me that people put you down enough and you begin to believe it. But you have to tell yourself that I am stronger than any of that. I'm stronger than any of the other things that people are telling me. Now, I was body shamed for the longest time in my life, being a model. Now, if I had the choice, I would have chosen to let that get to me. I would have chosen to succumb to the standards set by the society or what people were telling me, and it was all too much. But I chose not to do that. I chose to overcome it, I chose to overpower it, and I chose to ignore what the people were telling me. I've also faced like a really massive lower back injury, which I had to overcome after a year and a half of rehabilitation. A lot of people told me that I wouldn't stand back on my own 2 feet after having faced this massive injury. But I did. I overcame the injury, I went through the rehabilitation, and I did like a lot more to make sure that I am not only standing back on my own 2 feet, but I am way stronger than what I was in the past. And that, I think, is the true motto of life, to be able to stand taller and stronger than what you were. And if you can do that after the obstacles have crumbled you down, then there's nothing like it. So I feel that it's extremely important for you to have the voice in your head speak louder than the masses talking to you. You need to understand that the subconscious and your gut, the things that they tell you are always right. They're always pointing you in the right direction. It's called instinct for a reason. It points you in exactly where you have to go. And the moment you want to question yourself, just think twice. Is this where you're actually meant to be? And that could be any phase of life. And that's the thing about questioning. Just when you're about to do what you're meant to do, what you were born to do, it goes away. So even before I was coming on stage, I was questioning myself. I said, will I be able to do this? Even though I've been a motivational speaker for quite some time now. But the moment I get onto the podium, I forget everything else. And the only thing that I have in my mind are these things that I want to share with all of you. So I think that is the key to success, according to me. The faith and the will that you have within you and the strength that you possess, which can overpower everything else that people say. I want to share a small incident with you that I faced in my life of body shaming. I've been a model for quite some time now, and when I walked the ramp, a lot of people told me that I have a heavier lower half of my body. Now, as a model, that's not just as a model, as a woman, that's extremely degrading to hear that that is something that disqualifies you as a sense of a beautiful woman. And that broke my heart. At different platforms, wherever I was told that you're not good enough, you're not beautiful enough. Now I had 2 choices. I could either succumb to that and choose to quit modeling, or I could choose to go ahead and tell them, if you want to criticize me, that's your call. I can't force you to do what you have to do. But I'm going to go ahead and rock that ramp wearing whatever dress that you give me, because I was born this way. I'm meant to look a certain way. If you want me to look like a Latina, I would have been born as a Latina. I'm born as an Indian because these are my curves. And she is born as a North American because those are hers. And similarly for all the women across the world. So we need to understand that the motivation that you have within you is enough to shut the people that are telling you you're not good enough to walk on that ramp, or you're not thin enough to pull off a certain kind of clothing, right? So having overcome all of that, having not succumbed to any of it, as a model, I want to see a world where designers and designs call forth women of all shapes and sizes to say that we want to showcase that all shapes and sizes of women are beautiful, and any woman can pull off a garment designed by us. Now that, according to me, is a brand that is worthy of going all over the world, across nations and across continents. That, according to me, is women empowerment in its true sense. Thank you so much. And also, I feel that the instinct that you have within you is something that you shouldn't doubt at all. Because usually when somebody tells me something negative, I tend to have this automatic response that comes to mind where I have to say that, but I am better than this. But most of the time we tend to shut that voice down. We say, it's not worth retaliating, But sometimes I suggest to you that you retaliate. I suggest that you speak up. I suggest that you let your voice be heard, because the more you let it die down, it's just going to become insignificant over time. Now, I'm sure none of us want that to happen. And if you don't, you have to speak up. In a situation, usually what happens when we have an argument with somebody, and when we get back home, we have 5 more points that I could have said this at that point, I could have said those things. So why don't you just go ahead and say it exactly when you're thinking of it? Don't let your voice die down, especially for women across nations, across time zones. We've just been forced to be silenced. We've been forced to not air our views out to the world. And the only reason is that people feel threatened. It's not that they're forcing us to not do a certain thing. It's only because they know what we're capable of, they know the power that we hold within us, and they know that it's a lot more than the entire world put together. So all I have to say to you is that all the things that life throws at you, whether it's the sharps or the blunts, whether it's the calms or the storms, you should embrace them, because they are thrown at you to chisel you into the kind of person that you're standing as today. That's the best kind of human being that you can be. And this is something that I've learned from all the cancer patients that I've interacted with. I run my own cancer research and awareness organization. It's called Silver Linings, and I've been running it for the last 7 years. Now, the one thing that I've learned in my time at the organization and working with my team is that whether it's recently diagnosed patients, whether it's patients undergoing treatment, whether it's patients who have been diagnosed with being terminally ill, or whether it's patients who've recovered, the one thing that they all share in common is an indomitable will. I think the will that they possess within them is enough to put half of us in the room to shame. So we need to understand that when people going through such extreme cases in life have the strength to be able to literally defy scientific facts and extend their lifespan beyond what the doctor might have quoted to them, that you only have 2 years to live, and people end up living to 3 to 4 years. That is not only because of medicine, it's also because of your mind. It's also because of the motivation that you hold within you, that I am stronger than even what science tells me to do. My body will listen to me and not to the doctors. That's the kind of control that you need to have over yourself. That is the kind of strength that you need to possess, that puts everything else, even facts and data, will bow before you when you have that kind of mindset in your life. And at the end of it all, I just want to say that every time you see something being thrown at you, let it hit you. It's hitting you for a reason. Don't be afraid to, face things in life. Don't be afraid of failures, because if you do that, you're going to, take away one of the best experiences of your life. To be very honest, the failures that I've faced in my life, having had the back injury, having been body shamed, having not been able to stand on my feet for 6 months because of the massive pain that I was feeling in my lower back, I feel those experiences were extremely required, and that is what makes your story longer. So every time you face a failure, just think of it as my TEDx is going to be even more awesome than before. And that's why I'm also a TEDx speaker, and that's literally the motivation that drives me. That every time I'm hitting rock bottom, I say this is amazing, because that just makes my story more inspirational. That just makes a lot more people that are going to be motivated through this story. So at the end of it, I will culminate now soon, because I don't think we have so much time, by saying that I'm so happy to be among all you women today. This is the 5th day of our Women Economic Forum, and I'm extremely humbled to be present here among you all and sharing these views. And one of the co-speakers, actually, Georgette, I spoke to her the other day, and she told me that she's a brain tumor survivor. And if I remember correctly, do I remember that right? Yes. So being the founder of a cancer awareness association, for me, this platform means a lot, because it brings together women of all strata of society, all colors, all races. to show what women have within them, to show the power that we possess. And if we come together as an entire species of being, there's nothing that we can't do. So believe in yourself more than what people tell you, and don't ever let people's words get to you. The world is yours and the world is mine. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Now I would like to invite my other speaker. She is from Georgia. Kindly come on the mic and share.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That was so inspirational. In addition to it being inspirational, it was very, I think one of the biggest points you said was believing in yourself and really being able to embrace that and leverage that. So I'm not going to talk about any of that, because since you covered it so well, I'm going to give you some other secrets to success. So it's finding the motivator. Motivation for me, motivation for everyone is a little bit different. So I'll tell you about motivators for me. Motivators for me would include things like my children. They motivate me to be better. My health. Nikita mentioned I had a brain tumor in 2011. The fact that I value health makes it my motivator. And I'm pretty sure all of you have your own motivators. Things that are important to you, that drive you, that make you want to be better, that make you want to try harder, that makes you want to be stronger. But our motivators aren't necessarily our keys to success either. Those are pieces of our success. There's lots and lots of pieces. So I'm going to give you a couple of secrets that I think are important as well. So the one I hear a lot as a secret to success is let go of fear. I'm pretty sure most people have heard that one before. Let go of your fear. My secret is that it's not that easy to let go of fear. Fear consumes us. It consumes everything that we are. Nikita said she was afraid to be up here and talk, because even though she's a motivational speaker, that's fear. But the thing is, what you did with that fear is the secret. It's using that fear to push you forward. It's controlling the fear instead of letting that fear control you. I think that's the secret. The secret is not letting it go, because that's not the key to getting beyond it. It's being able to say, you know what, fear? You can go take a backseat somewhere, and I'm going to use you to be stronger, because I know everything that I've done out of fear, the things that I was really, really afraid of, and I actually overcame them, those were the things that changed my life. Those were the things that made me a better person. Those are things that made me stronger. Another one that I hear often is follow your heart. I hear that one very, very often. Follow your heart and you'll find success. Okay, I don't know about all of you, but I'm this year 40 years old, and I followed my heart several times in my lifetime, and I don't think it always ended up in success. There's many times I followed my heart, and my heart led me down a pathway that I probably may have had some experiences that my heart may have ended up broken at those times. So my secret for you is not, you don't let go of your hearts and your passions, but live intentionally and live in your higher purpose and allow your heart to drive your higher purpose. Don't just blindly follow your heart, because that way you are moving towards that succession of being a better person and growing. Because when you're living in your purpose and you allow your heart to drive that, your purpose becomes bigger and stronger and more powerful, and you're able to touch many, many more people. Another one I hear is, and I think it's a really, really good one, it is to make sure that you find that power in yourself. That's super important. We talked about that earlier. It's really, really important to be powerful in yourself. That's definitely part of success. Now, the secret, I think, also is changing just that power in yourself and tweaking it a little bit. And my secret is to kind of motivate you a little bit more to say, embrace the power in people, including yourself. So, and this is my personal views, but I found it to be universal. We weren't meant to walk this world alone. We weren't meant to do this by ourselves. And if there weren't any other people to care for, we would have no purpose. So if we are nurturing people as a whole and embracing, empowering, and leveraging how important people are around us, also submitting yourself to be able to leverage those around you for help. We're businesswomen here, businessmen. A lot of things that we've done here in our businesses, we could have done alone, but we're not going to be as successful alone as we can be partnering with other people that have the same passions. Embrace those people. If there's something that you're missing in your business or in yourself, go ahead and ask for help. There's other people that are experts in some areas, and being able to collaborate and make two small pieces one large piece is much more powerful than individual people and things doing things by themselves all alone. So please, don't just find the power in one, find the power in all. The fourth one, which I would say is my last one, is a lot of people say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? Which is super important again. We're gonna talk about all of these things are really, really important. Fail to plan, you plan to fail. But if you fail to plan and you plan to fail, or if you plan to fail, those are all in its own little right. Those are planning pieces. That's not doing anything, that's planning. Some people get lost in planning. We sit there and we cycle planning, and we plan it to death. We plan it in paper, we plan it in our heads, we dream about it at night, and we do nothing. Or we wait for the perfect time to do something. And there may not ever be that perfect time. What I want to say is the secret number 4 would be is to go ahead and take action. Take action now. Now, you don't have to wait for perfection to take action. You don't have to wait until the plan is complete to take action. You don't, if you have a plan and you don't do anything with it, it reverts back to a dream. I always say that there's 3 stages. There's dreaming, there's planning, and then there's actions. But if you stay in this area, it always comes back to just being a dream. We don't want to necessarily die with our dreams. One of our speakers, I believe 2 days ago, her name was Georgette from Australia. Her very last statement was, please, 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 she said it 3 times, and it hit my soul. She said, don't die with the music inside you. I don't want you all to die with the music inside you. I want you to let it shine. And don't sit there and just keep it inside. Make actions, create movements. Nikita's doing some wonderful things with her Cancer Association and her motivational speaking. If she sat there and planned it, 10 years from now, she'll still be sitting here thinking about what she could do. She made action, she made things happen. And I know I said that there were 4, but I'm gonna give you one more. And this is gonna be my bonus to take away. This is my secret. Love yourself and love others the same way the universe can love you. A lot of us always, and I say this for myself because it took me a long time to truly love myself. I always say, people, we talked a little bit earlier about how people can impose their ideas of perfection on you, and people can do all kinds of things to mess up your psyche and make you think that maybe, you're not good enough. Or maybe there's something that's possibly wrong. But embrace all of that. Embrace who you are. Love yourself, love others, and the more you love, the more you smile, the more you share with the world, the more the world is going to want to love you back. That's my closing thought. Thank you. We have 25 minutes and two speakers not here. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Open conversation. Any secrets to success? Yes. Thank you. found success? What helps you get past those obstacles?
I think one of the things I always say to myself, when there's something I want to do or something I'm going after and I see someone else who's already doing it, I would say, do they have two heads? No. Okay. So if they can do it, surely I can do it, right? I mean, and then, I remind myself, I'm like, okay, I might not do it perfectly, but I'll get it done. I'll just get it done. But my biggest thing is always reminding myself that whoever's, whatever's being done, the people who are doing it, who are achieving greatness, they don't have two heads. And that means it's possible. It's, and even if I go for it and I don't get exactly what I wanted, what I was going for, I'm further along. I'm closer to it than I would have been if I didn't make any movement at all.
That's a great point. I remember when I was little, there was a song, and I don't remember what TV show it was from, but it was like either late 70s or early 80s. But it was like, anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. No, you can't. Yes, I can. And I used to, yes, I can. And I grew up with that. I grew up saying, if there was anybody else that could do anything, and my mom told me the same thing, and it's ingrained in me, that if there's anything that anyone else can do, you can definitely do it. And if they can do it, you can most likely do it better because you've had some time to see them do it, so you can also learn from their mistakes.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
Any other thoughts on secrets to success?
Something that helps me is putting it out there, verbalizing it to somebody who's maybe not necessarily my friends or my family, because it's an accountability piece. So if I'm brave enough to just say it, then I can't stay in that planning stage. I can't stay in the dreaming stage because I verbalized it and I've let them know, hey, I'm going to do this and this is the thing that I'm looking at. So then they can push you.
Also, I feel like it's something that you put out in the universe, and the moment it resonates with the universe, it's more likely to come true.
Yeah.
Because literally, if you're throwing things out to the universe rather than keeping it within yourself, there's a higher possibility of that happening than rather than you keeping it within yourself, like you said. But it's also for me putting it out into the universe, because I feel like a lot of our vibes resonate with what's happening out there. So yeah, I feel that's also extremely important.
And we take action.
Yes, action. You can't just a lot of people do this though. They say we put it out in the universe, let's sit for it and wait, sit and wait for it to happen.
In fact, the key is like taking
Or wait
action.
for
Because I think there's a lot of things out in the universe just flying around.
Waiting to happen.
All these great ideas bouncing around us with the
Bumping
energy.
into each
Yeah,
other.
we've been thrown out here. We've been thrown out here, but nobody's making an effort to make us really happen out there. So,
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on reasons, any keys that have you found to be helpful in success that we didn't mention? There's so many of them.
I feel like one thing I do is like I work in several different fields. So it could be entrepreneurship or working towards the environment or sustainable development. So what I try to do is I try to find people who've been working in this field from way before me. So if I know someone who's been an environmentalist and done the same things that I intend on doing in a different manner, I try to learn from them. So I try to get as many mentors as I can from the different fields I intend to work in. And lots of times, if you're the first at something, there are going to be a lot of hurdles in your way. But if you have a mentor, he can tell you, a hurdle's coming up, that's where you go. And that really helps me out. That's something I do, to help me grow.
And that's that embracing people part. It's like there's so many people out there with so much information and they've done it already.
True.
Why recreate the wheel every time? Yes, you want to definitely make it better, and especially if there's things that have never been done. Sometimes you're a trailblazer and there's no one else in front of you, but you can still learn from people that are doing similar things and
I
still
think
make it
feedback
better.
is very important from other people because they've had experiences in their own fields, and if they can help you with that, that helps you enrich yourself a lot more. And I feel we should always be open to constructive criticism. Of course, there's a limit to which you should take it, but constructive criticism really helps you be a better person.
One thing that you just made me think of, one thing that that a lot of people ask other people is about their successes and what you've done to make things great. One thing I find that I ask often is about their problems. What are the bigger challenges that you're facing?
That's very important.
What are the things you
Yes.
haven't figured
Yes.
out yet?
Exactly.
What are the things that that you found really, really hard to do in the beginning, middle, and end of
That's
what you're
exactly
doing now?
yes.
When you started out, when I became an entrepreneur, I asked a lot of people, when you started out, what didn't you know? So that I know I don't know anything because I'm starting out from scratch, at that point. So what didn't you know so that now I know what I need to learn? because because I'm learning from your experiences, and it's
Yes.
better for me to find out what I need to know now than to find out what I need to know 10 years from now.
Yeah. Rather than knowing what helped you get there, you need to know what was in your way to get there. So, yeah.
I also have a question, if I may.
Yes.
To give you a little bit brief before the question, I wanted to work towards the environment, and as I was just telling someone here that I always looked up to Al Gore, the former vice president, and the work that he did. So I decided that I need to start working with him, and I made that happen. And it was a big deal for me. Once I achieved that goal, my next aim was to work with President Obama, and I made that happen. And I started working with him. Then I aimed to work at the UN. I made that happen. My question is, once you reached a certain level, you, not me, but generally the people that I work with, they sit back, relax, and they're like, now I've reached here, and that's all I need to do. How do you keep yourself motivated to keep growing, even when you're already somewhere? What do you guys do for that?
I was about to say, you already seem like you've already created that plan for yourself. You could probably answer that question, because if the way that you sound, you sound very much like me, that where I make a goal and I try it, and then when I do it, I come up with another goal, because I'm never satisfied. I'm never satisfied with just enough. I'm never satisfied with just accomplishing. I always want to do more.
I think that's the major key to success. Never being satisfied.
Never being satisfied.
Never settling for anything less than what you want.
And I think, people have that in their heart. I can tell it's in your heart, but, you want something, you go for it. Like, I'm finishing my doctorate. I walk across the stage in about 3 weeks, and most people say, Georgette, what are you going to do after this? Because now you'll have a doctorate. You'll be Dr. Georgette Fraser Moore. And I'm like, I don't know, what haven't I done? Let's go ahead and start looking down the list. Okay, maybe I'll be a lawyer. Maybe I'll be a medical doctor. Maybe the world is my oyster to open up and create something else new. But I'm never going to be satisfied. So I'm a lifelong learner. I'm always going to want to know more. I'm going to always want to help more. I'm going to always want to do more. I'm going to always want to figure out what else can I do to make an impact on other people, to help other people, and to make myself better. And I think that's a personal drive. Some people are okay with just doing what they're doing, and I don't think the people in this room, for the most part, are those people.
I think also too with that question is success is not a destination.
It's
a
journey.
journey.
Exactly. Yes, absolutely.
So it's not some place you arrive to and then you like, I don't know if you ever saw read that book or saw the movie Who Moved My Cheese.
Sorry?
The book
yes,
or the
yes,
movie
Who
Who
Moved
Moved
My
My
Cheese.
Cheese. And one of the key things in it was that the little men took off their running shoes and just hung them up. And that was it, they were done. They had found their cheese and life was good and they weren't interested in anything else. Whereas the two mice always had their running shoes ready. And I think that's the key to success. Always having your running shoes on, always being ready to go for the next goal, always looking for someone else, and making sure that you always are changing your circles that aligns with your next goal.
Yeah.
But to me, a lot of times, and I would say from personally, has been a struggle for me, is holding on to people who can't see what you can see, who don't have the drive that you have, who don't want what you want, and trying to drag them along. To open their eyes for them to see it. So all that energy you have
Gets dissipated into something
yeah,
that's not required.
because these are your best friends, you grew up with them, we went to school together, and you're like, come on, can't you see the world is not flat, come and see. And they're like, why? Everything is good here. Just like, So I think a really, as you're constantly exposing, as we're constantly exposing ourselves to things, seeing more, doing more, finding other people in that realm who is seeing more and doing more and want more, and constantly attaching yourself to that, and having that very lovely conversation of giving people the gift of goodbye.
Oh, yeah.
And so I kind of call it like I have 3 sets of friends: my outer court, my inner court, and my holy of holies friends. And so if you're not like moving at the same pace, you're my outer court. Love you dearly. If you call me, I will answer the phone, but I will never call you. If,
That's very true. That's absolutely
I'm not gonna call you. Really, what are we talking about? Then I have like my inner court friends, and we're probably like, think about some great things, and we have some really good conversations. And if I think of something I can help you, I'll send you an email, send you a text. maybe might even call you, you know, invite you to do something that I'm already doing.
Yeah.
So you could be a part of what I'm already doing. And then my holies friends, like these are my friends that I will invest my time in, spend my time with, because we both have our running shoes on. And so that kind of has helped me.
You know, people around you, they are nothing but energies. As per their mentality, it can be positive or negative. As you mentioned, I'm a life skills coach, so I deal, most of the cases are like this, that once the counseling started growing, people started leaving him. They're jealous or they want to create hurdles for them, you know. So I always say, first they laugh at you and then they follow you. But they don't agree that they are following you. So that's how the life is. Earlier you understand, better for you. I think that is one thing. And another thing I want to say here is that earlier, long back, I was just a homemaker. So I connect all the things with cooking. You know, so as you were saying, dreaming, planning and executing. First step, easiest, just dream big. How nice it seems, my life this way. Next is planning. Planning takes, yes, little bit energy, calculation, this, that, everything. And then most important, that is executing. So after a lot of studies in Harvard and Oxford and all, this was told that if you invest 70% of your energies in planning, it takes just 30% to execute it. But that 30% is very important, because you invested 70% and didn't do, again, you have not taken action, and what is the use? So when I relate it with the cooking, ingredients are there, you put it in the vessel, but don't switch on the gas. Will you get the recipe? Right. Will you get the dish? You will not. So that 30%, that is the smallest thing, that just a norm. But it is important. So that's how dreams turn into reality.
I feel like most of us have this mentality that I've dreamt of something really larger than life. I've made the most amazing plan that for sure will make this happen. And then we tend to sit back and relax. You know what, I've got days to do it. And the days just fly past. There are deadlines that go whooshing past you, and we don't really do anything about it. So I don't see the point of you doing all this. Might as well not plan. If that's the kind of person you're going to be, don't plan. Just get up and just do something. Right. That's better than just planning and doing nothing at all.
So the normal assumption here seems to be that we know what needs to be done. We have a set of ideas. We want to go accomplish those. We're going to plan those. What if that's not really the way things are? My experience would be that's not the way things are.
I would say so too. I would say, and that's why the planning, you know, that 70% of planning, most of the time when you execute, it's not going to go the way you plan, because there's a whole lot of factors that incorporate action.
No, I think we would all agree on that. But the question is, my question is not really, will things work out the way we thought they were going to work out? They never do. My question is whether or not the things we think are important and the things we think we should be working on also are very inaccurate, or don't inform themselves from the broader networks. Don't assume that there's networks outside of ourselves, outside of our networks, outside of the three groups that know way more than we do, that cumulatively are interacting, trying to get things done that are way more important than what we're working on. And because they have a better understanding, they mean the universal. If we stay focused on what we think is important, one of the reasons nothing's working out the way we thought it would is because we're not actually working on what's important. If we could somehow access the networks, if we could somehow see, if we could get visibility on what the real issues are, we'd be working on completely different stuff. And most of it wouldn't have anything to do with what we thought we were supposed to be doing prior to getting that visibility.
And I think
that comes with action.
But
as you're acting,
Yeah.
as you're in mode. So you have this idea that I want to build, I don't know, a glass house, and you think this is the best thing that could ever happen to have a glass house. And as you're building that house, and if you're building it in isolation, and I think that's the key when we start doing things in isolation. But to your point of is we're accessing information, then that information is informing our decision better. But if we sit down and do nothing, then we'll never know that that idea was not a good idea. So it's getting out there and putting yourself, as you would say, in visibility, that you realize it's shaping and forming. But I think it comes back to us of having the flexibility to shape and form with the newness that we have. As you get more information, I think there's a saying that says, as you know better, you do better. But if you don't know those things, you can only do what you know. But if you put yourself out there and you're in action,
Yeah, I agree with everything you said except that last statement.
if you know
But I
better, you
think
do
that
better.
no, you can only do what you know. That's the whole point of what I'm saying, is that if you assume you can only do what you know, you'll never ask the question.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And
What are
Okay,
the
okay,
things
okay.
I don't know?
That's actually where I was
that
gonna
if
go.
I-
Yeah.
If I
So-
stopped, I mean, one way to think about it is, action, learn. That's the normal modus operandi.
Oh, okay.
What if what we're really supposed to do is take 6 months and just sit quietly
Mm-hmm.
and understand, okay, my action doesn't have the right intention. And until I fix the intention issue, all of this action is just a waste of time.
But for me, even sitting still is an action. That's a choice that you're making to do that gets you to where you need to be. For me, I think when I say, and this is just my own perspective, while I'm doing anything in life and what I've learned to do in life is, and I think probably even more as a technologist, I do a lot of things iteratively while learning. So when I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, and I don't try to. I don't try to know what tomorrow's going to look
I think
like.
that's where it
I try,
is bliss.
right, I try to leave flexibility in my present and future for it to always constantly change and have an array of opportunities for it to go in any particular direction. So most people ask me the question, Georgette, okay, so you're about to have a doctorate, what are you gonna do with this? And I said, well, we're going to have to both see. Because I don't have necessarily, I have things that I want to accomplish, but that doesn't mean that that's what the universe has in store for me. As I go along and I meet people and we have other experiences and I'm learning and I'm expanding and I'm opening up myself to the knowledge and things to come in. I don't necessarily focus as much as, I'm focused strategically giving out that same
Have you ever completely left behind what you thought you were acting on and gone a completely different direction
Yes,
based on it?
many times.
I would like to hear that example.
So, great. So I've probably done it more times in my life than so I'm like, which one? I was originally pre-law, and I had wanted to be a lawyer my whole life. I worked at the district attorney's office since I was 14 years old. And in New York City, and I said, okay, I got into Stanford Law School in California. And at the moment I said, okay, well, I've always wanted to be a lawyer. I've got into the law school that I want to go to. It's one of the best law schools in the country. What do I do now? And I had to make a decision to either stay home and pursue something else or go to law school. I ended up staying home and pursuing computer information systems. Ended up being a technologist instead of a lawyer. Another one that I think, another one that I ended up doing was I spent most of I wanted to be a lawyer, so I went to school for technology, and I said, okay, well, that's just kind of something I like doing, and I ended up having a career in finance. My career in finance, I ended up being a VP for a bank at a very early age. And I said, okay, well, this is great. I'm making the salary I wanted to make out of college. I'm doing something that I think is helpful. But my passion said, okay, I still, I liked technology when I went to school for it. Ended up giving up my great VP salary and took an intern position in a technology company and quit my VP position to take a $15 an hour intern position because I said, I think that's where I'm going to be able to make more impact in technology, innovating, creating things.
Those are good examples.
That's wonderful. And something I was going to tag on to, I have a similar story. I was a corporate attorney for 10 years, and I left and became a breast cancer and life coach. And it's completely different, obviously. But everything that I learned in that capacity serves me in this capacity. So it's not like it's a regret.
Exactly.
And that's what it sounds like for you too.
Yes.
These skills that I thought my legal skills would serve me to be a lawyer, they serve me now as an augmented expert coach in ways I could never anticipate. And that's what it seems like.
I feel like on the way, when you're on the way to something which you feel like is destined for you or you want to make possible for yourself, along the way you can find something that might work even better for you. And you realize that you weren't preparing for it, but the qualities that you've already got for the different goal have helped you become a better human being. So I feel like for most of us, things never happen according to plan. But it's always good to plan because you're also prepared.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you're never prepared, but you're also prepared. I think that's
Yes.
that's
Always
just how it
learning.
works. Yes.
But you know, it's the way kind of thing she has had, because I had a very drastic change in my career shift. Like till 40, I was running a company which was super successful. But at one point I realized, because I was realizing, okay, it has become so monotonous. And I was running salons and spas, and I was the first person in India to bring organic and all. And I'm a technologist now. And I started a tech firm which works with meditative stages and break all the stages of brain. So, but when you go back and realize that every input, as she said, we have taken, it's more about coaching. And then I am with one of the biggest management institute. I'm with IIM Bangalore, and I'm counseling the students there. The kind of thing you have. See, every ounce of information what we collected in life serves us in a better way. And as she said, I agree that universe knows better than us.
Way more.
And it's always what we plan. We need to have a plan, but the direction when we change, shift happens, and that shift is always a bigger shift. It
Yeah.
always serves for a bigger purpose, because eventually, as Tony Robbins says, it's about your soul fulfillment. No amount of, what is success till we feel happy about it. So here it comes when you start following your heart and you end up being much bigger in all the aspects. I can see, when it comes to abundance, financially, socially, it takes you up and up.
I've learned to trust the
that's
universe.
Changes in the
Trust the
change
universe.
of measurement of success. You were running extremely well as VP, but the $15 an hour was probably more successful because you were happily doing it.
I was, and the
So
funny
the
thing is,
measurement of success is actually very different from what we place it as today.
but the funny thing is, when I was interviewing for that intern position for $15 an hour at a technology firm, I ended up interviewing with the senior VP because the director and the VP was not available to interview me yet because they were being hired. And she said, well, you're not a typical intern. And I said, yeah, I'm working on my MBA, and no, I'm not a typical intern. And she said, well, why would you want to give up your job, and would you really want to go ahead and give up your job and come here for an internship? And I said, yes. I said, because this is the direction that I feel like I need to go in, and I need to take a leap of faith and get there. And she said, well, that's what I wanted to hear. And we actually sat there and whiteboarded her vision for her organization. And she said, okay, and I remember when my director was hired, and I was still an intern, and he said, well, hey, you're not a typical intern, because he's looking at my papers, and he's like, you're not a typical intern, you're a little older than other interns, and you're, and I'm
My
like,
friends who make the shift always say that.
yeah.
The first thing we hear is you're overqualified for this.
And then he said, he looked at me, and I said, well, that's because I'm not a typical intern, and you're going to be hiring me. At the end of the 3 months, they ended up creating a position for me, and I ended up making double the salary I was as a VP at a financial institution within 3 months after
Follow your heart.
taking $15.
That's what I meant to say. And it looks
I didn't know that that's where it was going to go, but I knew that that was the direction I needed to head in at that moment.
But that's what I was saying about instinct. Like your instinct is stronger than anything else that people say. So when your gut tells you to do something, just go ahead in that direction. Just let everything else go and just follow that voice that talks within you. Like you said, don't let the music die.
Don't let the music die
Yes.
inside of you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Here? Does everyone want to you run the script program?
Yes, no.
Yeah, to get together.